Oh, I'm talking to her and I just hope that we can talk about the same thing, or that she relates to me, or that she gets me, and thereby my emotions will be able to be relaxed. I'll stop being anxious. I'll feel comfortable. I'll get into flow. I'll get my confidence back, and we'll be on the same page. And in that case, we're waiting for them to supply that for us. But it is possible when we access or attune to the emotional ground, which has a tone, and that tone is myself. And that myself is love. Part two. Part two is emotion. So when you're watching a movie, for example, and you see, oh, wow, she really just dissed him. Okay, and this is the movie of your mind, is it not? Oh my God, what if I walk up to her and this happens and so on, right? The concern is about your emotion. The concern is about the emotional ground. And this is a very specific thing. The emotional ground lives between your neck and your pelvis. This is where we experience emotions. If you notice it, this is where you experience power. This is where you experience anxiety. This is where you experience fear. It's where you experience joy. Even if you're careful, you can see that the core of your body is it emotionally. Now, when we realize the ground of emotion, okay, the ground of emotion is available. When you're watching that TV show and that thing happens, the guy really gets dissed, right? And then you feel it spontaneously, just like you hear spontaneously without saying, listen. No one needs to say here, here, here. Listen, it's just there. The same thing is, oh, he just got dissed. And it hurts, and you feel cringe, or you feel shame, or you feel embarrassment. All these feelings, they're arising in the ground of emotion. And this is a perceivable, livable place. And as soon as the moment that you realize what that is and where it is, it changes everything. Why? Because instead of being entangled in a series of emotion to emotion to emotion, I just want to be happy. I just want to feel better. I just want to get laid. I just want my anxiety to go away. Then we identify ourselves as the ground, which has no quality except for one, which we'll get to in a second. It has no variable quality of varying emotions, varying moods. Okay, and for that reason, we stop identifying or reaching for these changeable moods so that we can be happy. We stop reaching for them. We find what we can call a universal quality of happiness or joy, which is very different than the thrill or the movement of one happiness to the next happiness, to the next happiness, in between which is what? Pain, suffering, sadness, boredom. And this is also a thing that I encountered in the seduction schools, that's all they had was, I'm unhappy unless I can move from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. But that's not it. There was no attainment or attunement to the ground of emotion. And the quality of the ground of emotion, whose geography, if you like, is openness, its quality is, that's right, it's love. It's open. Just imagine everything in your life is resistance, resistance, protection, protection, fear, Ooh. The natural state of openness, there's nothing obstructing us. There are no meteors coming down to scare us or to throw us off. Life is totally favorable. Okay, yeah, there's an ongoing process of entropy and death, right? But even that death is unobstructed It's open. It's happening naturally. If it was obstructed, right, if we could contain death, then we wouldn't die. But rather, it's allowed to decay. It's allowed to. And this allowing is the nature of space. It's the nature of the universe. It's the nature of the openness. And this openness, where the temperature is totally suited to this being, it's totally suited to this speaking, right? The atmosphere is suited. And again, even in the most hostile atmospheres, the atmosphere there is suited to decay. It's suited to breaking down, but it's allowed to die. It's allowed to decay because change is possible. And the ground on which change occurs is openness, right? And this openness, when is experienced in the body, has the quality of love. Okay, so that is the second relational attunement, the bridge that is there emotionally between two people that can be realized beyond the varying or different emotions. Oh, I'm talking to her and I just hope that we can talk about the same thing, or that she relates to me, or that she gets me, and thereby my emotions will be able to be relaxed. I'll stop being anxious. I'll feel comfortable. I'll get into flow. I'll get my confidence back, and we'll be on the same page. That's why all we want so much when we talk to somebody new is to relate, or be related to, or be seen. Okay? And in that case, we're waiting for them to supply that for us. But it is possible when we access or attune to the emotional ground, which has a tone, and that tone is myself, and that myself is love. When you can really attune to that, be in that, beyond the this, then you stop seeing her the this. And her the this is the judgment, her anxiety, right, which you identify with. And you think is about you, and curbs and directs all of your speech and directs all of your kind of reactivity. But you can see, insofar, this is what relational attunement is about, insofar as you see and experience your own ground, your own fundamental ground of emotional tone, then you can experience hers. Why? Because everybody's is the same. That doesn't mean that everyone has the same emotions all the time. But everything arises out of openness. Okay? Even her, I'm busy, I'm worried, I don't like you, who are you, why are you talking to me? That arises. It's a constriction, it's a tightening that came to be out of the original. The original is consciousness, or love, or awareness, or God, or reality, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so that is what we train when we train the second aspect of the quality of being. Stay tuned for part 3, physical sensation.